as a dovetail from vinyasa flow into further practice, what I wanted to show you now is a way to do sun salutations, but in a limited environment, in a small environment, or just on a chair. So for those of you who have knee problems or hip problems, this will allow you to practice sun sals without further damage to the lower extremity. Or if you are just wanting to practice and you don't have ground space, this would be a nice way to get a little bit of a workout in and work on breath and controlling the stress response. So sun salutations you can find online. At the Chopra Center, I did sun salutations on the beach, and I'll put a link here as far as the observation of the typical sun salutations from chopra.com. For the purposes of this practice, we'll just go through the flow and then I'll explain as I go. So usually it'll start out in a acknowledgement or a prayer pose. Again, you're not going to get the exercise that you would with doing standing sun sals, but it's better than not doing anything at all. So start out with prayer pose. Inhale with hands to the sky. Exhale and forward fold. Inhale with equestrian pose on the right side. You always start out on the right side. With equestrian pose, if you are challenged in the core area, then you can interlace the fingers and place them on your in the front of your knee. Bringing the shoulders back automatically makes the sternum come out forward and putting a little bit of an arch into the back. This is equestrian pose and seated. You can also challenge yourself by just holding. It'll pull more work on your quad and your core, almost like a modified half boat. And then from equestrian pose, we enter into downward facing dog, which is the same as forward fold, allowing the head and neck to stay loose. If you can touch the floor, great. If you can't, rest your belly on your thighs, or sometimes lowering your chair so that it makes it easier would be fine. From downward facing dog, it's usually up into a cobra pose. Cobra pose where your hands are resting on your thighs and your knees. And then a slight arch with shoulders back. From cobra pose, go back into downward facing dog. Rise to equestrian again, same side. Step forward to forward fold. And rise hands to the sky. And then prayer. And that's pretty much it. When I do the left side, we'll link it to breath. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And then exhale and end. The end of the sun sals, you can just pause for a second, go back into sun sals on the other side. I mean, there are practices where they do sun salutations for 108 repetitions. That's usually at New Year's Day. But you can do that as a warm-up. You can do it from the vinyasa flow to the sun sals, or has a connection to the warrior wake-up that I'll show you later. But your choice. You can just do sun sals to wake yourself up. Say you just had lunch and you're getting a little sleepy. This would be great. I usually will expose the sun to the office environment to wake people up. Sometimes taking a brisk walk outside is just as good, but the difference is when you do the link to breath and pose, like in most vinyasas, it allows the brain to focus on the breath. It allows the muscles to distract the brain, and before you know it, you forgot about your stress of the day, your deadlines, your appointments that are coming up, in a good sense. I mean, you're not going to neglect those things, but sometimes you take away the pervasive thought of those issues, and you decrease the stress response, and you've just beat stress for the day.